Imagine the darkness. Not the darkness of night, but a darkness thicker, older, heavier. The darkness of the deep, where water pressure can crush a submarine like a tin can. It was there, in 1917, that a soul was born. Not a human soul, but a soul forged from steel, fear, and blood. Its name was Unterseeboot 65, UB-65. This German submarine was not merely a weapon of war. It was a flawed destiny, a gateway accidentally opened to a realm that should have remained untouched. This is not a heroic tale. It is the final recording from a floating coffin. And every word you hear is a scream trapped within the steel. If you are easily unnerved, turn back now. If not, prepare yourself. We are about to dive. The air at the Vulcan shipyard in the winter of 1917 already smelled of death before the boat was finished. As workers riveted steel plates to form the hull of UB-65, the first unrecorded accident occurred. A crane cable snapped, and a 3-ton steel beam fell, crushing the skull of a young welder. His blood and brain matter sprayed, landing hot on the virgin hull. His foreman, pale-faced, muttered, "The boat has claimed its first offering before it's even born." They cleaned it, but the stains seemed to seep into the metal itself. Then, during torpedo loading tests, a more systematic disaster struck. A safety valve on a new type of warhead filled with phosgene gas, a chemical that destroys lungs from within, suffered a fatal failure. In the narrow, stifling forward torpedo room, the odorless gas leaked, undetected. Chronicles recount, Heinrich, the ambitious second officer, was the first to feel it. He suddenly coughed, a cough that turned into a choking scream. His hands clutched his own throat, eyes bulging as he felt his lungs burn from the inside. Next to him, a mechanic named Klaus fell to his knees, bloody tears streaming down his face before he collapsed. They died in unimaginable agony, their faces frozen in pure horror. When their bodies were removed, the doctor found something terrifying. Heinrich's pupils had dilated fully, pitch black, and the doctor swore he saw the reflection of something that wasn't the torpedo room within them, a figure standing behind him. The room was sealed, sanitized, and ordered never to be discussed. But workers began to whisper that the two men never truly left. A strange smell, a mix of ozone and rotting meat, would sometimes waft through the corridors near the forward torpedo room, even while the boat was still in the shipyard. UB-65's first captain, Korvettenkapitän Ernst Bauer, was a stern, no-nonsense man who scoffed at superstition. During the first dive trial in the gray North Sea, everything proceeded smoothly, until the sirens wailed and the boat began to plunge into the deep. In the aft engine compartment, 12 of the finest crewmen stood ready. Then, the sound, a deafening croak, like the bone of a giant whale snapping. The main ballast valve in that compartment, rechecked by engineers, burst inward. Freezing, 0-degree seawater, with tremendous force, geysered in like the blow of a giant's hammer. The watertight door automatically sealed a safety procedure that became a death sentence. In the control room, Captain Bauer and the others could only stand frozen. They listened through the internal communication pipe. Not cries for help, but something far worse. First, the voice of Chief Mechanic Fisher. "God! The water! It's cold!" Cut off by a gurgle. Then, panicked pounding on the steel wall. Bang, bang, bang. Next, the voice of a young seaman, cracking with hysteria. "He's in here. He's in here with us. Please. He's Smill." His voice was drowned by the roar of filling water. Finally, for 2 minutes that felt like eternity, there was only knocking. Not panic knocking, but rhythmic, deliberate, despairing taps. Tap, tap, tap. like Morse code. A trembling radio operator deciphered it. In. Dark. He. Waits. Then, silence. The 12 men died, their bodies crushed by pressure and frozen in total darkness. When the compartment was finally drained and opened, their corpses were found in unnatural positions. Some hugged pipes, others cowered in corners. The face of Fisher, the chief mechanic, was turned toward the sealed door, his eyes still wide open, with an expression not of fear of the water, but of something that had been in the room with him. Under new command, that of Capitan Lieutenant Victor Grimm, UB-65 finally went on patrol. The psychological pressure was immediate. Temperatures inside the boat fluctuated wildly for no reason. Personal belongings vanished and reappeared in impossible places. A crew photo tacked to a wall was found upside down every morning. The face of the dead second officer Heinrich always obscured by an oil smear. Then, the manifestations began. Not mere shadows. An engine watchman swore he saw Heinrich sitting beside the diesel engine, watching it with a vacant stare, while the engine itself suddenly surged to dangerous RPMs. A cook, alone in the galley at midnight, heard a clear whisper in his ear. "So cold in here." When he turned, he saw steam from a boiling pot form a pattern like a face on the damp steel wall. The climax was the Corridor 3 incident. 2 crewmen on watch reported seeing Heinrich walking down the end of a corridor, but his feet did not touch the floor. The figure turned, and instead of a face, there was only dense darkness with 2 pale points of light where eyes should be. One of the crewmen, Carl, screamed and fired his Luger pistol. The bullet ricocheted off the steel, narrowly missing his comrade. The sound of the gunshot echoed in the metal tube, sounding like raucous laughter. The curse reached its peak with the spontaneous torpedo explosion. Just before the blast, crew in the torpedo room reported hearing knocking codes on the wall of torpedo tube number 2, the same code heard from the flooded engine compartment. That torpedo then detonated on its own, tearing open the inner hull and killing 5 men. A surviving torpedo man named Johann was found in shock. He repeatedly muttered, "He doesn't want us to use his weapons. This is his boat. Only his boat." Morale shattered. The crew barricaded themselves in their compartments, refusing orders. A religious crewman began scrawling inverted crosses and misspelled Latin phrases on the walls with charcoal. "Spiritus, intrus, vult sumim." The intruding spirit wants its place. High Command, in desperation, did the unthinkable. They brought in not just a priest, but a military occultist from a secret unit. In the dead of night at a remote dock, a ritual was performed. The occultist, robed, circled the boat with incense, chanting banishments in a dead language. It is said that when he touched the hull near the forward torpedo room, the metal felt icy cold even in summer, and a faint weeping sound emanated from within. The ritual concluded with the sealing of the forward torpedo room door with a lead cross. "It is trapped, for now," the occultist whispered to Captain Grimm, his face pale. "But a spirit like this, it feeds on fear. It will break out again." A new, oblivious crew boarded UB-65. The boat sailed on its final patrol. The weather was calm, the sea like oil. Then, the boat's last transmission received on a weak, breaking radio signal. Malfunctions everywhere. Shadows moving on their own. Knocking sounds. Torpedoes. Live. All torpedoes live. God, they're looking. The transmission cut to prolonged static. Hours later, from 800 meters away, the lookouts of the American submarine USS Times L 2 times spotted UB-65. She was wallowing on the surface, all her torpedo tube doors open, yet with no signs of battle. Stranger still, the sea around her looked unnaturally calm, almost oily, reflecting the sky in a wrong way. Captain Anderson of the Times L 2 times observed through the periscope. He saw the officer. Not a hallucination. The figure was clear, more solid than the other panicked crewmen visible running on deck. The officer wore an old-style uniform, wet, his face pale as marble. He did nothing. He merely stood at the bow, pointing a single, straight finger at his own ship's hull, right at the waterline. Then, Anderson witnessed it. Not a single explosion, but a precise series of sequential blasts, from the inside out, as if each compartment, each room, detonated in order. The final blast, from the forward torpedo room, emitted a sickly green and violet light, an unnatural color for conventional explosives. UB-65 split in two and sank in less than 30 seconds. No screams, no lifeboats, just a large bubble field and a small whirlpool that strangely spun counterclockwise. The wreck of UB-65 was found on the seabed years later. Divers who descended reported unexplainable phenomena. The watertight door of the forward torpedo room was open, defying physics. Underwater cameras recorded sounds, rhythmic knocking, then muffled screams. Most chillingly, a photographic expedition discovered footprints in the silt beside the wreck footprints, leading away from a boat that had been sunk for a century, out into the unending darkness of the abyss. The story of UB-65 may be about mass hysteria. It may be about a string of technical failures. Or perhaps, it is proof that under the extreme pressures of war, a steel vessel can become a crystal that amplifies and traps traumatic, psychic energy, creating an entity of its own, a hungry, angry egregore. Whatever the explanation, one thing is certain. The sea keeps its secrets. And sometimes, those secrets do not wish to remain buried. Sometimes, they knock.